Once again, California picking up another strong Pacific weather system, and that will have effects throughout the U.S. over the next few days. Heat wave continues for Central Africa, the town of N'Djamena in Chad, up to 113 degrees. This heat wave has been going on for about 2 or 3 weeks. 111 degrees there in southwestern Niger and 111 in northwestern Nigeria. Chad, located right here, and there's that 113 on the weather map. And Siberia, still in the deep freeze with minus 41 at Verkhoyansk. That's one of the coldest towns in Siberia. The weather map this afternoon showing that northeastern coastal low moving out of Maine, where we still have winter weather advisories, 4 to 7 inches of snow expected in the eastern part of the state through tonight. A new outbreak of Canadian air moving into the northern plains, and out west, there is our Pacific weather system bringing an occluded front into the central Californian region and a new baroclinic zone offshore west of Los Angeles. Quite a dramatic appearance there on the visible satellite imagery. 994 millibar occlusion off of the coast of San Francisco. Strong cold air advection coming in the backside, open cell cumulus, and the division between that open cell cumulus and the closed cell appearance. That pretty much marks the location of the jet stream. And I would expect that to wrap around into the dry slot and either come north or over on the east side, kind of like that. There is a fairly large area of warm air advection clouds right in this area here. That is associated with the warm conveyor belt, and very likely the baroclinic zone is going to be on the south side of that, somewhere right there. So we're going to see this area probably go through some development overnight, and of course that will spread quite a bit of rain and even some snow into the Los Angeles area. The snow, of course, up in the higher elevations. Winter storm warning in the Sierra Nevadas. And you can check that out. That's going to be above 4,000 feet. The Sierras could get 8 to 20 inches of snow with 30 inches on the summits. The San Gabriel Mountains also under a winter storm warning, and that includes the Interstate 5 pass. The Weather Prediction Center's Storm Severity Index for winter weather has gone into the extreme impacts in parts of the San Gabriel Mountains, so this could be quite a storm there, some areas getting up to 30 inches. And surrounding that, a large flood watch extending all the way down towards San Diego. That includes the coastal cities as well. And there you go. You can check out the impacts from the mesoscale models. There's the first band of convection coming into the Bay Area and into Monterey late this afternoon. The green shading, that's going to be precipitable water, and that shows the atmospheric river spreading right into the central coastal region early this evening, and everything shifts to the east overnight. 1-inch precipitable water offshore, just west of Los Angeles, and overnight into tomorrow. You can see those heavier bands come in. This is going to be about 3 to 5 in the morning. Heavy precipitation moving into Los Angeles with snow in the mountains, from the San Gabriel Mountains up to the Sierra Nevadas, and cold core convection following in the wake all the way up the California coast. The 500 millibar chart showing that vortex west of San Francisco with a large trough extending from Alberta down to California. And in terms of dynamics, here's how it all unfolds. Jet max out to the west. Polar front jet heading right into the central California coast. Then overnight, you can see that energy heading right into Southern California. There's midday, and there's tomorrow afternoon. So gradually everything is going to shift east into the deserts, affecting western Arizona, and then tomorrow night into the eastern part of the state. And the Q-vector charts showing that strong mid-level ascent working into Southern California tomorrow morning and then into the deserts tomorrow afternoon. Here's another look at our weather system off California, showing that occlusion going all the way down towards the Los Angeles area. And out there in the Pacific, deep southerly flow, you can see those winds out of the south all the way from Hawaii to Anchorage. And that pattern will persist for a couple days. Anchorage itself under a high wind watch for Saturday and Saturday night. Southeast winds could be gusting 55 to 75 miles an hour. And, of course, that deep atmospheric river affecting Anchorage especially later Saturday. Pretty quiet in Canada, although we do have a strong occlusion in the Gulf of St. Lawrence and the Maritimes. Cold air flowing down from central Canada. You can see that big 1036 millibar high across the high Arctic. And the temperatures up there looking like this. None of those severe oranges we had about a month ago, but lots of aqua indicating -10 to -20 Fahrenheit. And in the Atlantic, relatively quiet, a large plume of cold air advection coming down from Iceland and Greenland into the eastern Atlantic. Occlusions off the British Isles, and a southern stream going through the Mediterranean Sea, triple point over Algeria, so conditions probably a little bit unsettled in Italy. And of course, many of us are concerned about early next week in the Central Plains, potential for some severe weather. So let's put the maps into motion and see how things unfold. We're going to see that California weather system moving inland into Saturday and Sunday, bringing some of that weather with it. First, moving across Los Angeles early tomorrow morning, and then into the deserts during the day tomorrow. So by late tomorrow afternoon, rain from the Las Vegas area all the way down towards Yuma. Meanwhile, some development on this Canadian front. Let's see what happens with that. Yeah, not much development, just a low-pressure area in northeastern Colorado, some upslope flow affecting Nebraska and South Dakota. Our Pacific weather system continues moving across Arizona and into New Mexico for Sunday. And you can see those pressures really start to drop down to 93 millibars around Denver. The dry line extending from south of Kansas City into western Oklahoma and down the Caprock. Sunday, we could see some thunderstorms forming along that dry line. And into Monday, that's probably going to be our big weather day. The cold front emerges from West Texas and development along the Canadian front in Kansas. Everything shifts to the east. When I did look at the GFS yesterday, it looked like the instability was not all that great. I was seeing a lot of forced convection, MCSs. That'll probably be the dominant mode for late Monday. At least that's the way it looks right now. We'll have to reevaluate that for the Monday show. Of course, by then things should be obvious. But anyway, cold air advection coming down the backside, snow all the way down to Nebraska and parts of western Kansas. This system continues lifting into the northeastern U.S. for Tuesday, and snows re-emerging out there in New England and the Great Lakes. Looks quite snowy for Wednesday in the Great Lakes area, some very strong cold air advection coming into the upper Ohio River Valley area. And, there's California once again getting another Pacific storm on Wednesday and Thursday. So snows once again in the Sierra Nevadas. This storm looks a little bit weaker, but pretty good chunk of cold air advection flowing into Arizona and Nevada. Maybe some snows in the higher elevations around Las Vegas for next Friday. Then we go into Saturday and Sunday, getting close to the date of that eclipse. Too early to call this, but, the eclipse track runs something like that. Best prospects for clear skies appear to be in the Ohio River Valley area. This looks like a mess of warm air advection, and typically that is a cloudy pattern. So we'll have to evaluate this for next week. And there goes California once again with yet another Pacific weather system. And for the weather system that we do have, there's a mess of rain moving into the Bay Area right at this moment. That area of convection extends all the way down the coast and offshore. And looking at the Vandenberg radar, not much to see. Most of the precip well to the west, but catching a few areas of convection associated with the warm conveyor belt. And here's a look at the snow potential through Monday morning. can see some very heavy amounts there in the Sierra Nevadas. Reno, the valleys there will get mostly a mix of rain and snow. And as we go south, we pick up some of those heavy amounts. The National Digital Forecast Database going as high as 30 inches around Big Bear, and some high amounts as well in the higher elevations. Some impacts as well along the Mogollon Rim, up to 10 inches. Flagstaff looking at 8 inches, and snowfall all the way up into the Grand Canyon region. As the system crosses the mountains over the weekend, there will be some strong impacts in terms of winds. This is tomorrow afternoon, picking up to about 30 to 40 knots in the Painted Desert and Mogollon Rim area. And then on Sunday, picking up even more in New Mexico and northern Mexico. So by late afternoon, 40 to 50 mile-an-hour winds possible, Albuquerque, Tucumcari, Raton down to El Paso. And that will spread into the Great Plains for Monday. West Texas, Abilene, Sweetwater, San Angelo, possibly over 40 miles an hour. And things will lift quickly to the northeast by later Monday night. Very fast-moving system and heading on up into the Great Lakes area for Tuesday. And of course, the other thing we got to consider, the precipitable water. There's our moisture plume coming up from the Gulf. 0.75 to 1 inch common all the way from Austin to Dallas and Des Moines. And there's our atmospheric river coming into California. So we animate this. You can see the moisture continuing to spread into Texas, coming up to about 1 inch. And the atmospheric river out west, moving into Arizona for Saturday. And then things gradually coming together in Texas for later Sunday into Monday. Now we have 1 to 1.5 inch precipitable water across a pretty wide swath. And this is probably going to be associated with a MCS setting up for later Monday. Things sweep eastward into the southeastern U.S. for Tuesday and Wednesday. Strong, dry, cold advection into much of the eastern U.S. And then, of course, we reset once again for next weekend. And as we approach the date of the eclipse, there it is, Monday the 8th. 0.5 to 1 inch precipitable water across much of the I-35 corridor. So again, best viewing potential out there in the Ohio River Valley. And this is all preliminary. And that's all for this edition of Forecast Lab. Special thanks to Paul Tikowski for what I think is a renewal of the Patreon support. Very much appreciated. And we'll see everybody back here on Monday, at least for the supporters, and everybody else on Wednesday. Take care and have a great weekend. Bye-bye.